All right, this is Satal here with Battle Group 22 Delta. I am making a video today to show you how to do the daily tour of the galaxy in both the alpha and beta quadrants. So a few things that we need to know before we get started here. We need to have on our ship the polaric modulator console. It's obtained through a mission in the, I believe in the mission right after Blood of the Ancients. I think it's called Delta. But you can look it up if otherwise. So it's the polaric modulator. It gives you the 20% turn rate while in slipstream. That's the key thing we're looking for on there, plus some extra speed and turn rate and stuff. I'm using a Gem Hadar recon ship, which is a smaller, more maneuverable, faster ship. You can feel free to use any smaller ship that you have. Ideally, it should have 4 engineering console slots. And I just load up as much turn rate and engine power as I can. I'm not sure how much the turn rate helps while in sector space, but to me it feels like the ship turns a little bit better with it. And then same thing with the engine power. I don't know if it helps tremendously, but it feels like it does. So the engine power, turn rate, the polaric modulator, and then you need a warp core. This particular warp core I'm using has sector speed and slipstream reduction on it. The sector speed gives you a plus 18.8 to starship sector speed, and the slipstream reduction cuts the time in half for the slipstream. You got to have at least a slipstream reduction. If you don't have the sector speed, I mean, you really should have it, but if you don't, you could try to use the obelisk space subspace rift warp core. That will give you the 50% recharge, and then it also has a 0.2 slipstream speed bonus on it. And some more turn rate and slipstream. So that might actually help you to overcome the missing sector space power. But definitely would recommend buying an engine that has the sector speed and the slipstream reduction. And then finally, you got to have the assimilated sub-transwarp Borg engines from the Omega reputation. They give you a faster warp speed, warp 14. And you also want to have someone grant diplomatic immunity to you. It's tough to find. I have it, so anyone in fleet that wants it while I'm on, I'd be more than happy to give it to you. It's got a quick enough cooldown to where I can give it to a lot of people. But otherwise, I just sit here in the Alpha Quadrant and chat out in zone. And usually within a few minutes, someone who's in the Alpha Quadrant will respond and come give it to me. So you got to have the diplomatic immunity. We went over the other stuff. Make sure your engines are set to engine power on the bottom there. Make sure that your quantum slipstream is in your quick launch. All right, and then once you do that, you want to check your captain skills, and you want to make sure that you have Thrill Seeker with the plus 15% flight and full impulse speed, and then you want to make sure that you have advanced engines, which is a 25% flight speed and 25% flight turn rate. As we go on through the run, there's a couple of other things I'm gonna do, and I'll let you know. But when we start, just so you know, we want to accept the mission. We want to hit our slipstream right away, and we're going to cruise to the next planet, and we're going to put our mission in the primary slot as active mission. It'll be easier to not confuse the points with some other missions that you maybe have active. So we got a minute left here for my cooldown, and then we're going to get the party started. Basic route we're going to take, just to kind of show you, is here to there, straight across, down, and all the way around, and into the Alpha Quadrant up there. Alright, so hopefully my diplomatic immunity will last for the whole race. I got the buff a while ago and then realized that my cooldown wasn't active yet. And then, let's see if there's anything I'm forgetting. So we got the ship. Get the engines. Yep. All this stuff. Power 2 engines. Alright. Just about. Oh yeah, last thing, make sure you're outside of this ring. You're starting in the upper left corner in the Breen sector in the Alpha Quadrant. Be outside of that ring. If you start the mission inside that ring, you won't get credit for the Breen system. So here we go. 6 seconds. Let me get it started. So we're going to accept that and then pop out real quick and hit our slipstream right away. We got our brain system and we're cruising along. Now we're going to go into our mission journal and make our tour the primary mission. Now for this first planet, we're going to hit this planet here, but we have to be careful how quickly we go over, because we get a little message that will stop us dead in our tracks if we get too close to the border there. It's right there. Alright, so then we're just going to do a sharp turn here after we hit that first planet, and we're going to cruise down here to the Meech-ur system. You see we have our slipstream right in the bottom there, so that'll help us with being able to hop on top of it every time it recharges. When we do sharp turns like the one we have coming up, we're going to go down to 1 impulse, 1/4 impulse, to make those sharp turns. Otherwise your turns are going to take too long, and this thing squeezes. I mean, we're going to get this by 30 seconds or a minute, so we definitely want to make sure that we don't mess up and we do good with our time. So you got to hit the inner ring in order to get credit. So just keep that in mind. You see we got this planet here, and then we got 5 seconds left on our slipstream. Alright, and then we're going to pop that. Neat little trick that we're going to pull once we round this corner. It's just something I recently incorporated into the run, which will actually help us shave off about 30 seconds from the run, maybe 40 seconds. Is right after we hit this planet that we're heading to right now, that's the Arwath. Right after we hit that planet, we're going to turn sharp left and go down to that bottom planet. And then what we're going to do is we're actually going to switch zones. Anytime you switch zones, instances, it takes you right to the Meech-ur sector. So as soon as I hit this bad boy down here, I'm going to pop into another instance and go to the Meech-ur sector. When I'm hitting these planets, I love to use X to kind of click on it like that, and it gets me right to the planet. So I'm all lined up with the planet. I know I'm going to hit it. So I'm going to get ready, and as soon as I hear that little ting, I'm going to go to another instance. Alright, so that's going to actually load me in right there on the map next to Deep Space Nine. Alright, and my slipstream is almost up. Alright, and then we're just going to go down here and hit these two. Our time is looking real good right now. We're sitting at 12 minutes at Meech-ur, which is good. The idea is we want to be around, maybe 10:30. We want to be around 10:30 going into the Alpha Quadrant. Oh, I'm a little turned around here. Let me see. Okay. I'm going to pop out of slipstream just so I don't screw that up. Talking too much and I'm going to miss my slipstream. It already happened once, but that's okay. Yeah, I mean, I think it's not a very forgiving route, and I'm sure as more things come out in the game, we'll be able to fine tune it and come up with a better thing. But it definitely will give you the whole of the map for now. So, all right, now as soon as we hit this one here, we're gonna dart right and head for the Beta Quadrant. When we come up in the Beta Quadrant, we're basically going to be right in the Tenebia sector, and there's going to be a system of 2 suns right in front of us, and that system is our first thing that we got to hit. So it's real super convenient. You notice we have our slipstream saved up, but we're not going to pop it yet until we hit the Tenebia section and turn towards Orion. So there we go. We load into the Beta Quadrant. Then directly in front of us, we're going to see Tenebia. Don't go too fast because I've blown past this. I almost come to a complete stop when I hit that. Matter of fact, sometimes I do. Now I pop my slipstream, I go to my map, I press X on the Orion system to line myself up, and then we're just going straight down here. After we hit Orion, we're hitting Risa, and after we hit Risa, we're going to be cruising all the way down to the bottom. I don't know what switching instances will do in the beta quadrant. The instance trick is just something I came up with yesterday, and I haven't tried it in the beta quadrant yet. So actually, if someone wants to try that and let me know, you know, maybe that's something we can incorporate somewhere in here to shave some more time off. Because like I said, it's somewhat forgiving, but if you mess up too bad, you'll miss it. Alright, so we're going to be cruising down to this guy here, and then we're going to do a sharp turn up here, and then kind of loop all the way around down to here, up there, to the left, up to there, back around to there, all the way over to this guy, to that one, and then across the top. Now, there's a couple tricky planets that are a little up higher or a little down lower, so whenever you can, without messing yourself up, try to use the trick where you go to your map and press on the planet like this, because you can get turned around pretty easily. And we got our slipstream back, so we're going to nail it now, but we got to make sure that we start turning on the Drozona now, because it's a real sharp turn, and if you don't start to turn early there, you're going to burn your slipstream and you're going to blow right past this planet. So turn early when you start at that Drozona, or hold your slipstream until after you're already, you know, past it. If you're rocking double turn rate on the slipstream, then you don't have to worry. So we're going to Kronos, and then from Kronos we're going down to that bad boy there. I also like to keep my map, my mini map in the top corner at distances where I can still see the ring, because I get screwed up sometimes if I have it too far out, then you can't see anything. So by the time we hit this planet down here, we should have our slipstream back, and then we're going to make a sharp left turn, and we're going to cruise straight up to that planet. 2 sectors up. We're looking good. Should be about 7 minutes or so down at this planet here. If you are, then you're in good shape. Alright, 7 seconds left on our slipstream. Better time than I thought. So we're just going to be able to burn this quick slipstream just to get up to that planet real fast. And then we're going to make a sharp left. We're going to turn our slipstream off when we hit this planet. We're not going to be able to turn sharp enough. So you could actually just reduce down to 1 in order to turn it off, and it'll turn off automatically. Alright, so over here. Now, by the time we get just past this sector somewhere over here, we'll have our slipstream back. But we're going to hold it until we hit this right here. And then we're going to make a sharp right. Actually, maybe I'm thinking about when you don't have diplomatic immunity, you get it back a little earlier. With the diplomatic immunity, we'll probably get it back right after we make this turn. And then we'll be able to hit it to go all the way straight across there and up there. Yeah, this thing's real finicky, so it's always a good idea to hit that map a couple times and keep going back into it. Alright, so we have our slipstream back. Pop it down to quarter impulse. Make our sharp turn. As soon as we come out of this, we want to line ourselves up with New Romulus and then hit our slipstream, because you will blow past New Romulus if you try to line yourself up after you hit your slipstream. Well, maybe you will, maybe you won't. I've done it a couple times. And again, we're going to hop over to our map right there. Zoom ourselves out a little bit, and then we're going to take a hard left turn. So, you can start turning ahead of time, and then even bounce off the planet sometimes to get yourself a little bit extra turn. So this is a planet that's definitely one you want to click on, because there's a big moon in the way, and you think it's that, but it's not. Big sun, should I say. Alright, so we're going to make a sharp left here. Real sharp. Alright. I'm going to head here. 30 seconds on the slipstream. We're going to hit this bad boy, and then it's a long stretch to the Argelius system. You know, when you're watching this video, you can actually watch it in fast forward if you're just looking for the route. It'll neatly go across each one of those. So 5 seconds left on our slipstream. Let's line ourselves up. Here we go. So now we're going to get to this planet nice and fast. And after we hit this planet, we're going to turn sharp right and go diagonal right up to this planet. I always try to make sure the next place I gotta go I can see. Alright, so then we're going to that bad boy right there. Once we hit that, we're going to turn sharp right and go all the way down like that. Our time is at 3 minutes. Cutting it close, but we should make it. This next planet is super tricky. It's down low. So you definitely want to make sure you're lining yourself up with that, because your ship will automatically take you low if you do it that way. We got 11 seconds left on our slipstream. We're going to actually burn that as soon as it comes back. And then we should get one more slipstream out of this all, and that's what we're going to need for the win. So as soon as we hit that, it's obvious, I'd like to think at this point, that we're going to make a sharp left and go straight up. And that's going to be another planet that sits very low that we want to make sure that we're lined up perfectly for. Right, so pop out the slipstream. We come up here, and this is really kind of like the best case scenario. I've left a little bit of room so you can see how much time is left when you basically run it just about perfect. It's not much. It's maybe like, you know, less than a minute, 30 seconds or whatever. This is probably the most effectively I've run it. Usually I make a couple mistakes, but see, you notice with that planet, we did not get that planet. It's a very tricky planet. Make sure that does not happen to you. Fortunately, we're just talking about mistakes. Fortunately, I have enough time to make that mistake, but you basically got to almost slap this planet to get it. It's a real pain in the ass. Fortunately, we didn't make any other mistakes along the way, so we had the time to do that. That would be something that would have screwed me up, and I'd be screaming right now. You've seen I was right next to it and still didn't hit it, so. But, here we go. One, and then one last planet. It looks like we should have, you know, maybe sometime around 30 seconds to spare with one mistake. And that 30 seconds could be the, you know, the time that we shaved off by doing the quick instance change. Although I have ran this and completed it without the instance change. So 20 seconds here, I don't know, man. Now I'm starting to get a little nervous. No, we're good. Yeah, that really messed us up, but there we go. 7 seconds left, and we got our tour complete. So feel free, guys, to PM me if you want me to share play you and help take you through the route myself. I'd be more than happy once you get the items and stuff to take you through that route. And thanks for joining.